Okay, today we talk about the tutorial class on the video tool and why working from home and what are the benefits for the senior working at home. So I go through step by step. I think first of all, we important to as a senior citizen, it's about the health, and then after you reach 50 years old and above, there will be a brain drain, and your brain cell will be deteriorate all the time, and that may cause you dementia. So you have to keep on activating your brain, what you learn, practice, and think. So this is what I call activating your brain. Even you play game, it's still activating your brain. Rather than you watch movie and do nothing just for entertainment. So I think best is watch something and do something. Or even you attend classes, come back you must do it. But you go classes, you learn, but you never do it, still not helpful. Right, number two is see, because being your age, after a certain age, of course, the employment or the company may not engage you. Number one key could be high salary, and then they got to pay a CPF, and you can be non-productive, right? Especially when you're talking about digital marketing. Then what do? Company may say, oh, you do this, but that is one time. But you got one whole year, 12 months long, then what are you going to do from there? So that's what I mean that you are not being productive. Of course, the other way to do is to be engaged, outsources. You can be doing some freelance or whatever for people, and you have multiple company that will engage you to do outsourcing, and then that will be better, because as the company point of view, what they pay you, they are deduct from tax. It's not against the law, but it's deductible whatever profit they have, so it's tax deductible. So that is the benefit for a company. And I think most of the company may not understand about taxation, corporate taxation and things like that, which is I'm sharing with you. This can be deductible and things like that. I've gone through this past experience. I know that how, but we are not trying to avoid tax, but this is a legal way of doing things. Okay, next thing that we talk about, if you're being a virtual assistant or freelancer, at the same time you build your own database and earning multiple from companies, and yet they also pay you for advertisement fee. Let me share you how we can do this. Basically, as a freelance or as a digital marketing, you are helping a company, you're helping them to build database. At the same time, you also earn the database. And the best, you're earning from multiple company. You do this company, you earn certain percentage. Earn that company, you earn certain. Probably, if you have multiple company that you're earning, it could be better than you've been employed by a company. Let's say you're employed by a company $2,000. You do one for other company, they pay you $500 to $1,000. Another company $500 to $1,000. You can multiply quite a lot of income there. I'm not talking about trying to make money, but the question is the system that we are looking at. How you can actually get multiple source of income rather than one source of income which you are working. And then at the same time, if you have a big database list, that's why I've been encouraging people to build their own database. A lot of multiple company, they are actually building a database that without you guys knowing about it, Do you know how important the customer database is, right? In fact, when you engage a company to do certain thing from them, okay, you pay you an advertisement fee. What do? You don't go advertise in Google or newspaper and everything. You advertise back into your own customer database, and they see, hey, there's a result. When that is a result, that prove that you are doing your work. But that is provided you have 10,000 or 5,000 database in your own. Okay, the next thing that we talk about, that you can also grow into global business. Put your freelance or into a global, and then when they can look for you, they engage you, even they're from maybe UK, USA, or whatever country, they want you to do something from them. That is another source of income you are able to get. Again, I'm not talking about earning money. I think the more important, I still talk about health and build your database, okay? And when you do global business, it's actually tax-free. The income or the revenue is coming from overseas, so it's tax-free. So if you understand the structure of accounting system or corporate accounting system, then you understand why. Okay, the number 6 is basically we're looking at freedom. Anywhere you go, you can be in Malaysia, Thailand, whatever you do. As long there is Wi-Fi, you can also do your business. You don't have to be. But frankly speaking, you are doing just Singapore, there is always a limitation. If you do global, there is billions of company may engage you if they know you well enough. I just want to share with you that sometimes it's to be a business owner, or you have to be integrity. I always outsource. A number of my software is from India and also from Philippines. It's not talking about the price, but it's talking about once you have built the relationship with them, and then you trust them, you give them jobs and everything. So they're actually doing a freelancing. And where I find this from Ezin or desktop, they already put themselves in there as a global business. So you can get them from there. Go to Ezin to look for, hey, I want to do something like this. Can you find somebody? They will recommend you certain people. And I would say India also very good. We have been giving them a lot of outsourcing to do some of my software program. That's how we be. But number one, it must be trustworthy. They have to build the trust with you. Okay, in summary, I'm talking about we're using a marketing sales funnel system to build up whatever to fulfill your needs. I say number one key is have company outsource to you. You don't be working for people, but just outsource. You do the job and they pay you. Number three is your database. You build up your database. You can even promote your database when people want to pay you for the advertisement fee. And it's also global business. You do this business globally. And the next thing, of course, is freedom. So now I'm going to hand this over to our trainer to talk more about the second lesson that we have. I'm just giving you an introduction. Okay, let's start off with that.
Why should you work from home? I know this seems like a very basic question, but we can't assume that we already know the answer. It's much better not to assume anything so as to not overlook anything. This is a very important basic question. Why should you work from home? What kind of benefits would you get working remotely? Convenience. When you're working from home, you don't have to put on your work clothes. You don't have to get from point A to point B. You don't have to hassle about traffic. You don't have to budget for lunch. You don't have to deal with office politics. You're just dealing with work in an environment you can control. After all, you're working from the comfort of your home. Also, you save a tremendous amount of money in commutes, in lunches, and all sorts of daily hassles that the daily grind brings to the table. You exercise your brain. There is such a thing as senior citizen brain drain. If you're a baby boomer and you've been working with your brain all these years, when you retire, suddenly, all that brain activity goes off a cliff. Maybe you were upper management in your career. People would come to you for all sorts of hard decisions. Maybe you would process a lot of data. Maybe you were a doctor or a lawyer during your previous career. These involved a lot of reading, analysis, and hard decisions. Well, when you retire, it's very easy for your brain to turn into mush because you just find yourself reading magazines, watching YouTube videos, and essentially giving your brain a pass. Well, when you're doing work for others from the comfort and safety of your home, you get to exercise your brain. Maybe it's not at the same intellectual intensity as before, but you're at least giving your brain something to do. You put yourself in a situation where you can remain intellectually productive and mentally sharp. The best part to all this is that your brain improves or at least maintains its functions when you learn something new. So, if you're going to work from home and you've branched into a new area that is outside your core competencies, you can bet that you are definitely giving your brain a much-needed workout. Don't disregard the money. Depending on how well your retirement has been set up, money may not even be a consideration for you. On the other hand, if you haven't saved much for retirement, money is a big deal. Regardless of how big of a factor money is to you, please understand that working from home can be lucrative. The techniques that I'm going to teach you in this training are going to step you through many different ways of making money on the internet, as well as through hybrid solutions that make online and offline platforms. The bottom line is, depending on how hard you work, depending on the kind of system that you build, and depending on how you invest your time and how your reputation shapes up, you can earn quite a bit of money. In fact, a lot of retirees easily make six figures just working from home. Now, that may not be a big deal to you because if you were particularly successful in your career, six figures is small potatoes. But in many cases, senior citizens working from home who pulled down that much money actually put in very little time. Also factor in the amount of time, focus, and planning that went into producing income. You get flexibility. The great thing about working from home is you get flexibility. Personally, I love this. I have a small boy, and it's really a pleasure seeing him grow up. The great thing about becoming a parent is you get to relive your childhood through the eyes of your child. Whatever issues you may have had with your parents or whatever misgivings you may have had about your own childhood, you have a chance to fix that with the life of your child. It's no surprise that parents love to say that they give their kids the opportunities that they themselves did not have. This doesn't just involve money or the ability to buy certain things. This also involves emotional and intellectual nurturing, sustenance, and cultivation. Also, you get to enjoy a very nice work-life balance when you're working from home. Your work revolves around your schedule, not the other way around. This flexibility enables you to enjoy more of what life has to offer. Working from home gives you a sense of meaning. At the end of the day, what really makes life worth living is not the amount of money we have in the bank. It's not the amount of respect we get from others or the social status we manage to achieve. It goes beyond that. A life worth living really boils down to whether you think that there is a purpose to you living. What's the point of having a lot to live for when you have nothing to live from? It's all about purpose or a sense of meaning. When you work on your own terms, from home, you get that sense of purpose. You get rewarded for being curious. You get rewarded for breaking things up and putting them back together again and piecing the things together and connecting the dots. You ultimately get paid to learn, and it's really nothing short of beautiful when I see senior citizens that I coach professionally for online income generation regain that spark of meaning and purpose. Please understand that during your old career, it's very easy to define yourself based on your job or your title. But when you work from home, you define yourself based on the possibilities of the things you can do, and every time you produce something, you achieve a new level and you explore territory. That's a beautiful thing, because you're celebrating your growth as a human being on so many different levels. Keep the benefits above in mind if you're still on the fence about working from home. Please understand that senior citizens working from home don't just benefit financially from doing so. They stand to gain so much more.
Okay, we have come to the end of this tutorial lesson that we talk about what is the benefit of working from home for the senior citizen on the digital marketing. Of course, when you work for a company, basically it's mainly working from home is for convenience. You don't have the hassle to travel to going to work and all the traffic jam and things like that. The other thing is about office politics. Many organizations say what you like, there is always an office politics all the time. And when you're serving a company and that's it, come to the day, you have to and that is what. So what do you do when you get retired and the company did not want to engage you? Now when we start working on ourselves, it's basically to exercise our brain, as I say. It's for health methods that we do and be more lucrative. If you can able to create just a marketing platform, you should be able to get engaged by multiple companies to do outsources to you. Working for life and lifelong to be building your own database. And the database is so important to us that many companies are built without we knowing. Okay, that's the purpose of life, living. You can achieve a new level of and explore into new territory. Keep benefiting in your mind. Say this long, maybe you can think that I'm long-winded. I always keep reminding about building database. I hope you enjoy my tutorial and you learn a lot, and learning is one thing, as I always say, that practice is another thing. You're not practicing, you're not activating your brain. All right? Thank you.